Melbourne-based Eden Brew is one of a flurry of startups making dairy proteins from microbes instead of cows. I'm here at Future Food Tech in London with CEO Jim Fader to find out what makes his company stand out in the crowd.
As we've scaled to commercial readiness, one of the things that we've discovered, which is so powerful, is actually the role of the micelle in delivering minerals. And so the calcium plays this Velcro type role of sticking those proteins together. And when you consume milk, the caseins form a curd in your tummy, a little bit like cheese, and then breaks down over 5 hours, slowly releasing that calcium. And it's designed for babies to fuel growing bones. So we're kind of liberating that micelle and that functionality from the constraints of only being in milk. And we've worked out how to fortify those micelles with iron, magnesium and zinc, and then deploy in many other consumer situations like sports nutrition or vitamin supplementation, longevity formulas, GLP-1 companion foods. And for us, that is a real evolution and growth to our strategy.
You talk about loading these micelles with iron, magnesium and so on. Why is that better for a potential partner rather than just me adding those minerals straight to a formulation?
Yeah, well, I guess having them bound in a protein complex like that means that they get chaperoned past the stomach, and that's quite novel because not only are you getting your vitamins, but you're also getting a protein base as well. But many of these minerals or vitamins are designed to be digested after the stomach, and so being able to kind of chaperone and then slowly release drives bioavailability, and it also avoids some negative sensory outcomes. Iron's a really good one. If you dose iron into the stomach, you get a little bit of a kind of a toxic shock in a way. People get upset tummies by taking iron that way, and so we can avoid that. So it can be far more pleasant and sensory driven.
So what kind of markets are you targeting with these products?
So we'll start with iron and magnesium supplementation, and by using that slow release system, it still brings all the dairy functionality in a powdered form as an ingredient into many different sectors. So our focus is very much around the big now immediate opportunities that are in the market. So GLP-1 is creating a significant change to how people eat and to all the trends in many different food categories. We see a big opportunity to drive nutrient density outcomes by including iron and magnesium enriched caseinate products as ingredients into foods to drive protein and to drive nutrients. So companion foods to GLP-1's a main one, and then also just bringing that novel approach to vitamin and mineral supplementation.
So what kind of interest are you seeing from the market? Is this just all about nutrition, functionality, price, or do customers care that your proteins are animal free?
Yeah, I don't think animal-free is really a focus. I think so much of what we already consume is animal-free. It's confusing. But I think that focusing on making great food people want to eat, irrespective of how it's manufactured, is where the industry needs to move to. Stop being alternative protein and start just being great food. Yes. B2C versus B2B, there's a role for both. Yeah. I don't think you can do both. Yes. I think if you're a deep tech innovator, then you're spending your money on the R&D and the innovation, and I think if you then also try and spend the money on the brand building, you're setting yourself up for a rare challenge to succeed at. So pick one strategy. We definitely started out B2C because making dairy consumer products was naturally relatively easy for us based on this micelle technology, but we're moving to a B2B supply model because a very targeted health and nutrition dosing outcome through food fortification and vitamin supplements, I think requires a skill set that we'd rather partner with those that already have that.
You talk a bit about manufacturing and scale up.
Eden Brew has not spent a lot of money on capital, and we have no plans to. There are some brilliant businesses out there, some established and some new and emerging, that have the capability, and our model is to partner with the experts, and we've been very clear on what do we want to be good at, and then partner with those that are already good at the sectors that we also rely on. Eden Brew can't get there on their own, and certainly our CMO model is our production model. We are literally putting our applications in now in Australia and the US, with Singapore to follow quite quickly. So we're anticipating approvals from Easter onwards through next year, and the different jurisdictions have different timelines. It's an arduous process, of course, but by the time you get your dossier ready, you've largely done the work you need to do, and then it's about making sure you're building the right dialogue with the regulatory authorities, and we're very confident and advanced in how we're going about that. So we will launch in the US, we would expect around Easter to middle of next year, and that's through that iron and magnesium supplementation. Our first application is to use our ingredient as a like-for-like substitution for dairy. The subsequent applications build greater complexity around nutrient uses and their efficacy, backed by clinical trials, things like that. We've got all those things in our pipeline. Fastest way to market is a like-for-like substitution with dairy in certain categories of intended use.
Can you just talk finally about how you funded the company to date and how favourably or otherwise investors are looking at this space?
Well, yes, we raised $15 million US in 2023. That was our Series A. We're actually just starting another round, which we're calling a go-to-market round because we're using the resources to launch. It's largely pitched as a Series A extension, similar sized round. The idea is resources get into market with a little bit of time in market, go back and do a bona fide Series B, probably very end of next year or early 2027. In terms of how our investors, I feel generally there's a real vibrance to the conversations in the market. We're seeing some great announcements come out recently in some other businesses that are raising, so I love to see the green shoots. There's always been the ability to raise money, but you've got to be really clear on how you differentiate, what's your strategy, and then some investors will find that appealing and others won't. So there's a little bit of a numbers game, or making sure you have a good network and you talk to a lot of investors. But Eden Brew's existing investor base are all following on in our round. And so, yes, I think that you do the work and the rewards are there with investors.
Do the unit economics stack up for a straight kind of casein or a whey play, or does it only make sense if you've got some added functionality, like in your case, kind of loading these minerals and so on?
I think the strategy of making premium or expensive niche products early when your production costs are high, and then broadening out your portfolio to more mainstream CPG type ingredients or consumer products as your scales fractionalise your cost is the right thing to do. And our focus on casein fortification into mineral supplementation is an example. But our unit economics absolutely do see us getting to price parity with dairy by 2031. And so we indeed are encouraging conversations with global CPGs about supplying at those prices.